Hey, I'm Brian Miller, magician and motivational speaker. If you're a regular subscriber, thanks so much for sticking with me, and if you're new here, welcome to the channel. Am I getting lens flare? Look at that. I was getting, It's Friday, and that means it's time for a Q&A. So let's go through real quick a couple of questions that have come in this week. Where are my notes? Okay, here we go. First question has come in a couple of times. Hey, what's up with those guitars? I'll get to that. Next question, the M3 or the G7X Mark II? This has come up a few times because, those of you who follow my channel know that I use a Canon EOS M3 as my main vlogging camera. That's what this is. And I also use the G7X Mark II as kind of like my pocket camera, my sidearm, my Casey Neistat. It sits on my hip. And, M3 versus the G7X Mark II, that's one of those questions. They're just such different cameras for such different purposes. The beauty of the M3 or any of the mirrorless Canon cameras is that they're interchangeable lens cameras. I have the 11-22 on here right now. It's a phenomenal piece of glass for the price, for the size. It's awesome. There's the amazing 22 millimeter f2 lens. Then you got your kit lenses like 18-55, or you got the longer zoom kit lens, the 18-150. So you have all these different options that you can use creatively and for different purposes and applications, which of course you can't do with the G7X Mark II. That's got a fixed zoom lens that's built into the camera because it's a point and shoot camera. Having said that, the lens it has on it is amazing. I was starting to answer it, and then I feel like I just drifted off from answering the question. The question was, which one's better? Which one do you like better? Here's what I'll say. I like the image on the M3 better than the image on the G7X Mark II, and I think that comes down to the glass. There's just something about the quality of putting a good piece of glass. Again, the EFM lenses, they're not the nice, expensive L series Canon lenses, of course, but for the price, for the size, for the weight, they are terrific lenses. And there's something about this image like that you're getting right now that's it's just got a nicer quality than the same image on the G7X Mark II. Actually, where is it? Flip over to manual mode. What am I at? F4, ISO 640. Okay, so there we go. They're roughly the same thing. Of course, the 11-22 is much wider at the 11 millimeters than the. I'm not really sure what the widest point of the G7X Mark II is, but it's obviously not as wide as 11 millimeters. But this will give you an idea of the difference in the quality of the picture. I just think the picture out of the M3 is a nicer image than the picture that you get out of the G7X Mark II. Having said that, so now the G7X Mark II is on the f1.8, which is much brighter, which also means you get a lot more bokeh, a lot more background blur than you're ever going to get on this lens. In order to get that kind of background blur on the Canon M3 or the M6 or any of the mirrorless cameras, you would have to put on the 22mm f2. But the problem with the 22mm f2 on the Canon M3 is that the M3 does not have a very good autofocus system. Like, it's okay, it does fine, it serves the purpose, but and it works well with the 11-22 because this thing starts at f4, goes down to f5.6, so there's no issues with autofocus when you have that wider depth of field. But when you're working with a shallow depth of field like 1.8 or 2, there's so much less room for error, I guess. The lens has to do more work, and the M3, the autofocus system just can't handle it. So I can't use the 22mm f2 for video, and I would love to be able to. That's actually one of the reasons that I'd like to upgrade to the M6, because that has Canon's dual pixel autofocus, and it's supposed to be able to handle the f2 much better. And lest we forget, the M3 has a microphone input, which of course the G7X Mark II does not. And that's a huge deal. The fact that I can get a decently high quality audio when I'm vlogging with the M3 versus dealing with the internal mics, which are, this will give you an idea of the difference in the quality of the picture. I just think the picture out of the, this will give you an idea of the difference in the quality of the picture. I just think the picture out of, good, I only spent 8 minutes answering the first question of 5. Oh, here's a question that came in from the previous vlog. Hey, what book are you writing? That's a great question, especially because I said in the vlog, hey, if you want to know more about the book, put that in the comments, and a bunch of you guys were like, hey, I want to know more about the book. I'm working on my first book as a speaker. So if you're a keynote speaker or motivational speaker, most speakers, if not all professional speakers, have a book or 2 or 5 out that is kind of like a self-help genre, you know, something related to the topic that you talk about. And I talk about making meaningful connections. So I've been working on my first book, which is about how magicians have mastered the ability to take on other perspectives in order to create wonder and connect with the audience, and how you can learn to do the same thing to make better and more meaningful connections with the people in your life, personally and professionally. The idea is that the book should appeal to magicians and non-magicians because it will have a lot about magic, but it won't give away any magic secrets. So if you're not a magician, you should get a lot from the book about how magicians make connections with the audience and create wonder and all that stuff. Lots of good stories in there and tales of failure from my life and my career and successes as well. And if you are a magician, it should give you a deeper insight into the kind of things that magicians do, maybe things you hadn't considered before that can help your magic be better. So I'm not going to say the title of the book because I'm so paranoid that if I say the title, somebody else will publish a book with that title before I have a chance to. I know I don't actually have an ego big enough to believe somebody would steal the title of a book from me, or that it's even that good, but it's mine and it's my title and I've been holding on to it for like 1.5 years and I don't want anybody else to have the possibility of stealing it. So I'm not going to tell you. Hopefully that book will be out summer of 2018 and you guys will be the first to know. This one's appropriate for today. Maybe this will be the last one for today. How do you find time to make these videos? I don't. I don't know how I find time. How do I find time to make these videos? I find time to make these videos by not sleeping and doing other fun things that I used to do. The hardest thing about vlogging is finding the time to shoot, edit, and upload on your own, particularly with my schedule. You guys follow my vlogs, you see what I do during the heaviest parts of my year. You know, I'm in a different state on 2 or 3 flights every single day. So in between managing 200 to 250 live events a year, finding time to film, edit, and upload 3+ videos a week is really hard. I guess the way that I find time is that I have figured out over the last year how to shoot videos efficiently and to edit efficiently. And I should probably do an entire video. Would you guys like to see a video of me explaining like a day that I'm vlogging, kind of start to finish, how I create a vlog from the time I wake up to the time it's finished, I'm finished editing it? Is that something that'd be interesting to you? I mean, I'm not like a big YouTuber. I don't have a huge following yet, but I appreciate every single one of you. So I don't know if I have anything to offer that the bigger vloggers haven't already said, but if you are interested in how I create my vlogs from start to finish, kind of, not the technical, not you know, bringing you into Final Cut and showing you how I, you know, specifically cut things up, but giving you kind of the mindset and the theory and my workflow from start to finish, maybe a few technical tips along the way. If you'd be interested in that, let me know in the comments below. If there's enough people that are interested in that, I'll work on that video for you probably after the holidays, because it's gonna get pretty busy between now and the new year. And yeah, I think that's it for me. I had a couple more questions that have come in, but I'll save those for next week. Thanks so much for sticking with me. If you're new here, my name is Brian Miller. I am a magician and motivational speaker. I vlog showing the behind the scenes of what it looks like to be a traveling magician and speaker, and going all over the world in new places. I also do travel gear reviews and camera reviews and do camera tutorials. I occasionally talk about magic theory. We have a good time here on this channel. So if you're new here, hit the like button. Please do subscribe if you haven't already. And always remember that our world is a shared experience. Thanks very much. Have a great weekend, guys. More on that in a future video.